Okay, so hi everybody. This is yet another fucking movie podcast, episode 1 or 2.
I mean, like, this is real episode 1, and we also have secret episode 1.
Yeah, that's gonna be the special episode for when we make more than what do you say, 100 episodes?
I was gonna put it on a scale of Fergie's MILF money. So once we make quote unquote MILF money, I think we can finally release the secret episode.
I completely agree with that. I see no problem with that, and that is what's going to happen. We're not going to say much about the secret episode. I would just like to say a couple of words to the man that created the virtual audio cable program. Sir, I would like you to die slowly and painfully. So, with that, I feel like we should move on to the topic of today. Listen, this is the first official episode. The other one, we're not going to talk about it. Okay?
Sure. I mean, I feel like I can't avoid making references to it.
Okay, we'll do that.
Mainly because of... Well, it wasn't actually that bad.
It was a very good episode.
So to speak. It wasn't that bad. It's that if we had to recreate it, it would just sound so disingenuous.
Yeah, completely agree.
I mean, on that note, I think we have to reintroduce ourselves.
That's true.
Because we're just a bunch of nobodies.
We are. I will reference back to the fact that our introduction on the last podcast was great, so I figure we should just do that one. I'd like to say that we are two fucking idiots. That is established.
Right.
We also have no authority to be talking about movies. But,
not at all.
But yet we are. That's the beauty of podcasting.
Right. I mean, the only background we have in all of this is that we went to the same community college film program.
Excuse me. Film and communication program?
Oh, right. So we could watch film and communicate them.
Yeah. Communicate the films.
Right.
Film the communication.
Correct. Both.
And as I mentioned in the last podcast that is not going to come out and we're not going to talk about unless we reference it, is I look like a Russian wrestler named Olga who cuts her own bangs, and Brandon looks like the Rock from Moana, but if he was really into sweatpants.
That's a good point. I'm actually wearing shorts right now.
He's wearing cargo shorts.
Yeah, well, thanks for... I mean, I guess you have to be specific about that.
He is a white, middle-aged man with a mortgage at his core.
That's a very good point. You know, I mean, if I had to choose what kind of color I'd want to be in every year, I'd choose white.
It's pure.
Unfortunately, my parents weren't white.
I mean, that's just, some grudges. We all got some personal grudges.
I mean...
sometimes I wish I wasn't born in a country named Bulgaria that is apparently the second most violent country in Europe. Second to Ukraine, by the way, which currently has a civil war going on. So
take your throne back.
Yeah, I feel like this is a Game of Thrones situation.
Take back the throne.
Take back the violence throne.
Absolutely.
That's my campaign on Twitter, if you guys would like to follow me on that. So, jokes are over. The jokes are over at minute 3.30. Okay, so we're actually going to jump into a topic straight ahead because we're going to try to have some semblance of a discussion today.
Okay, good, we'll try.
And the thing I suggest for us to talk, because I feel like it connects to both of us, because two subjects that we both really love. It's video games and movies, and why video games don't translate in movies very well.
In fact, video games and movies are the two things we have in common, is that we both love them so much.
Yeah.
That we haven't really had time to talk about other things, which would then result in our mutual hatred for each other.
That is exactly right. The only reason Brandon and I hang out is because he doesn't know about my other interests, and I don't know about his other interests.
Which I assume is null.
Yeah. I don't... the police is in the background. If anyone heard that...
we are an NDG.
We are an NDG. So for those of Montreal... we're danger. We're dangerous creatures, right?
I mean, that's absolutely fair. Then again, my apartment's like a couple blocks away from the new mega hospital. So, if anything goes wrong...
The mega hospital. That's great.
Is it super hospital, mega hospital? What is it?
It's Ultra? Like if you upgraded your hospital in a video game.
Kaiju hospital?
Kaiju hospital. That's the new Gypsy Danger, Pacific Rim monster. They just fight the hospital.
That'd be a cool, new... Jaeger?
Jaeger.
Sorry. I don't get my alcohol straight, but...
You don't get anything straight.
Apparently not. But I mean, a new Jaeger called Kaiju Hospital would be pretty fucking sick.
That would be really funny. That actually would be. I'd imagine that being like a Japanese video game monster.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like that would be a great idea.
Then again, I've been playing enough Monster Hunter to.
That's true.
You know.
You would fight a hospital.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Also.
Hashtag Brandon would fight a hospital.
Hashtag Brandon. Hashtag AKA.
Yeah.
Kaiju Hospital.
Yeah.
Hashtag I'm not good at hashtags, but. Anyway, I wanted to give a little warning that my cat is just hanging around here. And she doesn't really meow, so you don't have to look out for that. She just breathes. Like, it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. She just exhales.
Like, if any of you are familiar with the recent not the recent Oscars, the ones before, they brought a really old man on stage and asked him to speak on behalf of whatever he was doing, and he got up on there, and it sounded a lot like...
Yeah, so if you hear that, that's neither of us. We don't have asthma. We don't have any breathing problems. It's my cat.
It's Brandon's weird fucking cat. So that's... Glad we got that out of the way. So, she also drools. So that's...
I mean...
That's normal, though.
That's due to the high amounts of acid that she contains in her mouth.
And that's just relatable.
Absolutely.
Absolutely relatable. So,
absolutely.
The reason why I wanted to bring up video game movies is the recent release of Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander. I think that's how you say her name, but probably, you know.
I mean, we're film students, not linguists.
Yeah.
So.
Who has time to learn names? The recent Tomb Raider came out, and reviews have been middling at best. Like, people have been saying that this is just a movie. Like, it clearly is just made to benefit the property of Tomb Raider. It is not made to think of new ways of making cinema. It's just, did you like Lara Croft in the 90s with the triangle titties? Did you like her now with the new game that's come out? You'd watch it and be like, okay, it's a movie. I paid $7 to whatever bucks I did, and I would get my money out of it. My problem is the question I'm asking is, that's not enough, right? I feel like that's not enough.
I mean, yes, you're definitely right about that. Although I want to touch on something you just said. You said you pay the $7 to $10, $12, whatever we pay for movies nowadays. But do you actually think that we get our money back from it?
No.
I mean...
Unless it's like here's the problem, is when you really think about it, what you're willing to pay and what you're getting out of most movies does not correlate. Like, I'd say we watch Annihilation. I think that was completely worth what we paid.
Even worth more than what I actually paid for.
Definitely. And I'd just like to shortly mention that Annihilation is getting put on Netflix. So it's just going on Netflix soon. And it's probably going to get just eviscerated at the box office from now on. It hasn't made that much money anyway. And the fact that that's happening is another complete issue.
I mean, I think that's Alex Garland's decision to have done that, I think. Because not too long after Ex Machina came out, which is his first production.
A brilliant movie, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He put it on Netflix not too long afterward. I feel like it's just a decision he made like that.
Yeah. And just shortly speaking on Annihilation, I became very frustrated with how there was an interview with Alex where he said that the studio basically saw the movie and told him the ending is too confusing. They told him the ending was too weird for large audiences, and Alex refused to change it. Alex said, I'm not doing shit to it, this is what I'm ending it with.
Good.
And the studio apparently got real pissed about that and said...
Yes, naturally.
Naturally, but for that reason, they did not promote it as much as they could, and that kind of... that sucks. Like, Alex is one of the directors that clearly is not going to make a lot of money from his movies, but I think at the end of the day, he can say, like, at least I make something worth fucking money, right?
And I feel like that's what's gonna happen now with cinema. All these people who don't really care about, the publicity and stuff like that, they know that people who actually do care, regardless of the ads and everything, are still gonna go and watch the movie. And I feel like if people start responding more to the individualist or the, how do you say, we learned this, French filmmakers.
Auteur?
Yes, the auteur, as they say, directors and writers, people who control everything in their movie. I feel like we get to witness more, artistic development, and I feel like if we encourage that, we might have to deal less with Tomb Raider and all this kind of nonsense like World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And I feel like by your reaction to that and our mutual love for the game World of Warcraft, you probably had something to talk about later on in this podcast. I probably just touched on it a little too early.
No, but I was just like, we'll start on Lara Croft. I just want to say that there are certain things, and I'm sure that's the same with you. I don't know, actually, I found that this is like something that it's very hypocritical of me. There are certain movies or subjects that I will, no matter how much people hate them, people hated the Warcraft movie. I'm just gonna say it. It got shit reviews.
I didn't bother watching it.
You didn't bother watching it. I went to see it with my brother on opening night. There were half the theater was there only. It didn't feel as grand as I thought it would be. But for me, that movie was just a magical experience, and I realized, and I know why.
Okay.
It's because I've spent 10 years on this bullshit, and it's like a fucking needle in my arm, both arms, just being pumped into me like a fucking adrenaline rush. And that's the only reason I liked it. If I rewatched it now on Netflix, because I think it is on Netflix, I would probably just cry because it's so like... I would probably fall asleep is what I'm saying. The only reason that is just very hypocritical of me, and I think that goes into video game movies, is that a lot of people who love these video games will go see the movie and say, I loved it, be like, I really truly think that this is a great movie. I love that they're making a movie of Lara Croft. But if you take them on task of rewatching it or trying to just discuss what was wrong with it, they'd immediately be like, oh, fuck,
Well, yeah, and
I was going to say, and I feel like that's a big part of how studios probably think of it. They're like, we're going to get a quick buck out of them. Because it doesn't matter. Like, people who love Lara are definitely going to go see Lara Croft because they're like, I know her, I love her video games, I'll go see it, they'll pay for it. Doesn't matter if after that they never think about it again, they'll still pay for it.
That's kind of what I wanted to touch on. I played the games when I was growing up and whatever, but I don't remember in recent years there being a high demand for Tomb Raider or any Lara Croft buzz going on, except for the movie. Yeah. I mean, the game that
came reboot.
Out, was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago on consoles, I think. Oh no, it's on PC too because I played it. The reboot that was critically acclaimed. That's
right.
Yeah.
And I didn't play it. It looks more like Uncharted, which again.
Which we'll talk about because there is an Uncharted movie in production.
Oh fuck me.
Okay.
There are. These are games that I'm like not really the best at, so I don't really touch up on them. Mm-hmm. I like to watch people play them. That's awesome.
Definitely, that's what I was gonna say. If you've watched someone play it, you get the idea, and you're like, I would love to see someone play it. I would love to experience the story.
Right.
But I would suck at those. Like, yeah.
What I wanted to say though is that with the remake, I don't remember people saying like, "Oh, this is a great game. I can't wait for another Tomb Raider movie." Yeah. And if there were, I guess I don't have the right friends, apparently. That's probably my fault.
Brandon, I've been messaging you, like, every day, telling you 5 days to the Lara Croft premiere, 4 days, and you just keep blocking me. So
I mean, to be fair, like, I have different Facebook accounts at this point. All of which you just keep tracking down, and I don't know how you're doing this.
Listen, I'll jump off of what you said. I truly believe that there was no demand for this. Absolutely zero. When they announced it, I remember they announced the actress, which was Alicia, and I remember saying to myself, this is like the most optional movie ever, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
This is literally like in the pile of, I don't know who produced it. It's probably Legendary, because Legendary keeps picking up these fucking video game movies, but whoever did this, it's in that pile of like, we don't know what to do to get revenue back, so we're just gonna pull from these things we have. Yeah. And it's the most optional shit ever. Who asked for this is my question. You're completely right. And pulling on that is, what is up with people not learning from mistakes? You remember the original Lara Croft movies, right? Angelina Jolie?
Daniel Craig.
Yep. They were a mess. I'm just gonna... Do you remember have you watched any of them? Because I recently watched them on Netflix.
Okay, so kind of there are like two?
There's two of them. There was going to be a third.
Okay, so I watched them when they first came out.
Yeah.
And again, like, what was that, over 10 years ago?
This is mid 2000s.
Like, I was like
kind of the worst period for movies.
I was like around like 8 when they came out.
Definitely.
And I remember watching them. I don't know how. Not in the theater because we didn't really go out to the theater much when I think we just rented it.
Yeah, I think
sounds like something my sister would rent.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Definitely.
And like I can make references to some of the scenes, but my brain just fuses both of them together. Like they fight inanimate objects at one point, like these weird like soulless stone guardians or something.
Yeah, that's the second one.
Right. Okay. And the
first one is in the jungle. She goes. It's the origin story.
Is the first one where she has like a really bad British accent?
Yes.
Are they both?
They're both. She is like that. The actress who plays her in the game is also British. She is supposed to be a British person.
Right, she's supposed to be British, but Angelina Jolie playing them has a very, if I remember correctly, a very selective accent.
Yeah, very Madonna-esque. If somebody remembers what Madonna did at one point, where she pretended she was British.
So, am I wrong? Like sometimes in some scenes she'd have the accent, or for like certain words.
Yeah.
But
her dialogue coach was frustrated, to say the least, probably.
Wow, I mean, they probably hired the same acting coach they got for Alden Ehrenreich for the Han Solo movie. I sure hope so.
By the way, when that comes out, we're doing a full podcast on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna go over 2 hours.
It's probably gonna
pretty
go.
Sure.
And Brandon's gonna cry by the end of it.
I'm gonna record some live commentary from the actual theater, and it's all just gonna be me crying.
It's you screaming, by the way. It's just gonna be you screaming at the screen. Why does your hair look like that?
It's like worse than Hank Cavill's mustache.
I just imagine it doing this. Back to the topic at hand. Yes, Angelina Jolie, those movies were a mess, but I'm gonna argue that the mid-2000s were when companies tried to do the video game movies thing.
Right.
Everyone remembers the original video game movie, and this is something painful to say, the Mario Brothers movie.
Wow.
So this is something way back. People who are listening to this may not fucking know what it is, because it came out before we were? Not you're 95.
I feel like saying it was like an 89 movie.
I think, yeah. Can you look it up while we're that was the first, I think.
I'm a 95 kid, by the way.
Yeah, I'm 97. And it came out, and I remember at the time it wasn't that much big of a deal, but now it's become a meme. Like, it's a complete meme.
Oh, absolutely.
The entire thing, you can watch it. It's like the room for video games is how
Holy shit, it was 93.
That's amazing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so none of the people who think it's a meme now have seen it probably at the time, but now have caught up with it.
Yeah.
And then after the Mario Brothers movie, came the slew of Silent Hill movies.
Okay, I actually want to touch on that.
Okay.
I was gonna say in this whole subject about video game turned to movies, my personal favorite, and I think still the best movie the best video game that became a movie, was the first Silent Hill.
Yeah.
With one of the rare appearances where Sean Bean doesn't die.
Oh,
in a horror film, he doesn't die.
That's amazing. They put him in the only genre where it would make sense for him to die.
Right.
But he did. That's amazing.
I think that's actually a good movie, and I feel like if I did rewatch it recently, it would still hold up.
Okay. Silent Hill is definitely the 90s still, I think.
No.
No? 2000s?
No. Yeah.
Okay. So, Silent Hill for me, I think the reason it worked is because Silent Hill is so easily adapted as horror. I mean...
Because it's a story-driven game. It's Heavy Rain before Heavy Rain was a thing.
Exactly. Please tell me, who the fuck makes the Heavy Rain and all those awful story-driven...
Stop. Heavy Rain was amazing.
Okay, Heavy Rain was great, but have you seen his new game? Detroit?
No.
Okay, don't.
2006, Silent Hill.
2006, wow. Okay,
with
so...
horrible reviews. Is that right?
See, this is what I'm gonna throw in, is that I feel like there's another thing. People who play video games are more likely to have, not sympathy, because it makes it sound like Silent Hill is a hapless victim, are more likely to understand a video game movie. The reviews are all from people who, like, if you look at them, they're all just, like, movie review critics. Like, they're just movie critics that went to see Silent Hill and were like, this awful horror movie.
But what I mean is, like, cinematically,
yeah,
was
okay.
good.
So you think it was, like,
I remember it that way.
See,
okay, I'm gonna rewatch it.
Nostalgia might be clouding you, is what I'm saying.
Probably. I'm gonna get back.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch it and get back to you guys.
Yeah. All right. So the Silent Hill movie, I think there was more than one. I think there was 3. I'm not sure.
I think so.
Wasn't I didn't think it was bad either. I think the Silent Hill series works very well as a movie because it's story driven. See, the Mario Brothers movie had a ton of issues. Not at least the fact that they had to make up a story for Mario, and Mario's so nonsensical that makes no fucking sense.
And they had Dennis Hopper.
Oh god.
They had Apocalypse Now's Dennis Hopper.
Apocalypse Now ruined people's careers.
Well, okay, we're not gonna get into that right now. One of my favorite movies of all time.
It's a great movie, but we saw the behind the scenes of filming that movie, and
I
I would kill myself after that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure Charlie Sheen's dad tried to, and he didn't make it.
God, that's what the whole opening scene was about. But anyway.
No. So what I'm talking about, so Silent Hill happened, and then Lara Croft came. And the issue with Lara Croft, I think, is that Angelina Jolie picked it up. Can you imagine one of the biggest movie stars of the world says, I'm going to do your movie?
At the time, yeah, especially.
Completely. She's like, I'm going to do your movie and I want to do this. And she looked exactly like Lara Croft. I'm not fucking kidding. That hair, everything about her, muscular, had that, like, feminine face, had everything about her going that looked...
Absolutely perfect.
It's just... It was a shitty action movie. It was 2 shitty action movies.
I mean, we're talking about, like, video games turning into movies, but mentioning Super Mario Bros. I feel like doesn't really count. I'm gonna get back to Tomb Raider in just a second.
Yeah.
This is, like, burning a hole in my soul right now. I need to talk about it. They tried really hard to make it so different from the games. They actually did. Like, apparently that was, like, a real thing.
That's so sad.
Again, having Dennis Hopper play Bowser, kickstarting John Leguizamo's career.
And then ending it.
Hey man, Chef was great.
Nobody saw Chef.
That's unfortunate. I absolutely love Chef. And having the Goombas being 7 feet tall with tiny heads, which is a complete reverse of having tiny bodies and gigantic heads.
It's also nightmare fuel.
Absolutely. So, I feel like it doesn't really count.
It doesn't count, you're right. I just feel like video game movies were at a bad start.
Right.
We just...
Absolutely terrible.
Terrible start. And a lot of people don't count it as a video game movie because it was such a failure, and I agree completely with you.
But it did try to make off the success of Super Mario.
And it's so sad because it didn't need to. I feel like Super Mario would have worked better as an animated TV show. That would have made sense.
It was.
It was?
It was for a time, yeah.
Okay. So why didn't that pick... Anyway. Corporate structure will not make sense to us ever. Because they're looking at spreadsheets going Mario good, Legend of Zelda bad. Oh god, can you imagine a Legend of Zelda movie?
They had a cartoon show.
An actual, like, movie, though. Like, let's hire Legolas to play Link.
I bet that it's under wraps right now, but it's going on.
They're just waiting for it.
Oh, absolutely. But back to Tomb Raider.
Yes, I feel like Lara Croft was a great character. I think Lara Croft is a great character. I just feel like, and this is where my main point is, that I don't think video game movies will ever make it, is that you will never, ever find a better alternative to actually playing the game. You know what I mean? You're never gonna get to that point where I'm gonna watch Lara Croft do all that shit on the movie, like just be like fighting people, crushing people's heads, shooting guns. You're never gonna improve that experience for me because I've done it, you know?
Right.
Like, I've done that myself.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know how we get past that. Do we just abandon video game movies? Like,
I feel like there is a way of doing it properly. I feel like... I don't know, like, if you'd have a movie that is not part of the original storyline in the video game, and then the video game with that storyline comes in afterward, maybe it might be better, because we wouldn't have experienced that plot per se.
Okay.
But I don't know, I feel like you can actually do something properly. The problem with most video game movies is that they know the people who played the video game are going to go watch it.
Yeah.
So they can allow themselves to cut some things out and let the people who played the video games fill in those blanks because they played it. Hence why critics who watch it are like, this is a complete mess, I don't understand it, because they never played the video games. And that should not be an excuse to make a movie.
Completely, yeah. It sucks because at one point I understand that, and I'm like, if I made a video game movie, I would probably think in my head like, people who are gonna watch this, the majority of the audience is gonna be like, oh yeah, in the Warcraft movie, why Garona helps out the humans is because there's a long, complicated history with her being a half human and all this shit.
So do they touch on that?
But they never explain that. You're only supposed to get that because she doesn't look like the other Urks. She looks like a human in green paint.
Oh, jeez.
And I feel like that's, yeah. There's just a lot of issues. And the Lara Croft movies have this problem where, this is probably going to be a controversial thing where, getting back to Lara Croft, and I've heard this a lot from both Angelina Jolie and Alicia when they asked them, so why did you do this movie? Like, why was the motivation, blah, blah. And both of them, I remember this clearly, both of them were like, well, there's a lot of young girls out there who really want to see Lara Croft on screen. And I know that I talked to their mothers and to those girls that they really want to see a strong female character on screen. And I'm going to call bullshit on that. I'm calling complete bullshit on that statement. I'm calling complete bullshit on Alicia Vikander and Angelina Jolie, two millionaires who have been in several movies, thinking that they're doing this for the social justice element. I don't believe that.
It's like how kids want to see Undertaker throw mankind off Hell in a Cell. You know, that's what it equates to. Like, what is this, ancient Rome where people are cheering for people to die? Like, we want Lara Croft. Like, no, it's not happening. It's just a huge-ass paycheck that's going to be paid for all these dumb idiots who are going to go watch the movie. Myself included.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm still going to go watch Tomb Raider, even though I don't know the story too well.
I texted my brother this morning, and this is something I will completely agree. I texted him, the Lara Croft movie apparently is just okay. I'm curious, do you want to go see it on a Tuesday? He was like, yeah, sure. Because it's not going to stop me. But I call complete bullshit all these, both of these actresses going around saying, this is just, this is a story of a woman succeeding because, despite all odds, surviving. First of all, bitch, she's a millionaire. That's the premise of the story.
That's true.
That she's a rich white woman who goes on adventures for fun. You cannot convince me that is succeeding despite all odds. She's also super buff. Like, the whole thing is just very weird for them to be like, we did this with the little girls. First, no mom's gonna let the little girl go see a movie in which a woman breaks a guy's neck 5 minutes into the movie.
I mean, I understand the whole, like, role model type aspect of it.
Okay.
You know, I can get that.
I can get it, too.
I mean, I feel like we're in a day and age that just because a millionaire woman turns out to be white, it can't be relatable to anybody else. It can be relatable because she can't be every single race. What is she, like Dr. Manhattan? Like, you can't do that.
When is a Dr. Manhattan movie coming out?
Fucking standalone Dr. Manhattan movie.
A standalone Dr. Manhattan movie.
He should have been in Dawn of Justice, but, whatever.
Listen, some things can't be perfected that early on.
Sure. But, it's kind of a stretch for some people, but I can see the whole role model aspect out of this.
Part of me is very, annoyed because it feels a lot of times in these movies where a lot of them were just the jet. I'm having a stroke. The new Star Wars movies, okay? Right. We're getting into real controversial territory. I'm sorry, but everyone is just like, listen, these female characters are pushing boundaries, are just going further than we never knew, and we're getting female characters, they're main characters, they're kicking ass, they're fighting people, and it feels like this cheap, instant, just like, no, this can't be a bad movie, socially speaking, or whatever, because this is a main female character. I don't know how I'm going through this. I just feel very annoyed that it's don't sell it to me that you're trying to make this a role model movie, because it's not.
Right.
The reason why it's become a role model movie is because you have people watching it, then going back home and being like, I feel empowered by this. You didn't make this on purpose to make them feel better. It's because some women, when they go see Lara Croft, they're like, I love her, I feel empowered, I wish I could kick ass like that, I wish I could be independent like her, stuff like that.
It probably was an argument in the pro section, as a pro,
okay,
to take the movie, like her agent was telling her, but the main thing was, you're going to make a lot of money off of this,
And it's a guaranteed check, literally.
And being a role model was a side note. I could believe that much.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say.
It's kind of disingenuous, just a bit.
I was just about to say
okay.
It's probably a bit disingenuous to say that that's the main reason why.
I just know that that's what.
Because if that was the case, you might as well invent a completely different character who's never been in a video game, and create an empowering story through that and being a role model like that.
Yeah.
Why don't you leave the role model in the video game?
There we go.
Where you can actually be that character.
Exactly, I completely agree with that.
Okay.
Roberta's cat is staring at me. I feel like she's empowered by Lara Croft.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. She's like, Lara Croft wants me to be Acid Cat, I will be Acid Cat.
Acid Cat is the superhero pseudonym of my cat.
There we go. Okay, so we've analyzed Lara Croft enough. Case in point, we're both going to see it. None of this matters. The analysis we've just done will not stop us both from going to pay the $6.50 to go fucking see this woman.
You know what? I'm gonna pay to see another movie and then just sneak in. So.
Okay, I think that's a good form of protest. I'm gonna pay for Annihilation, and I'm just gonna go see. Because I'll be very honest, Annihilation is a very good example of not preaching to the fucking choir about female characters and actually having just straightforward, this is just a story.
Yeah.
Even in the movie. Like, I expected, did you expect the movie to be like, 4 women, whoa.
I mean...
I expect the movie to just be seriously like, whoa, it's like 4 women?
It's like 5 women.
Oh, true!
Yeah.
It's like 5 women?
You're forgetting my girl Shepherd now.
Yeah, that's true, Shepherd.
My love.
And I was expecting the movie to kind of make a big deal out of it, like have a male character come in and be like, you can't do this. But they didn't.
I'm really happy.
God bless Alex Garland for that, because I was like, please don't make me, like, the movie try to fight the fact that they're like, it's just simple. They're like, it's really simple. It's actually like, oh, so 5 scientists. No. 5 women. No, 5 scientists.
Yeah.
So.
They like touched it very lightly, but enough to be like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Like, I mean, it makes complete sense. Like, they would not consider this as, like, this special people. They're like, no, the only difference is that we're not...
We're fucking scientists, okay?
We're not army dudes who, like, will fight everything we see.
Exactly.
So, we'll see how the Lara Croft movie is. We'll probably talk about it, because we're both probably gonna go see it. And we're probably both just gonna be like, it wasn't offensive. Like, I didn't hate it.
I guess.
Yeah. It wasn't that bad. So, I would like to touch on this is my Achilles heel, to be honest.
Okay.
Is the Warcraft movie.
I did touch up on it a little too early, didn't I?
So here's my issue with I'll start because this is... It makes me really sad, Brandon, because Warcraft was... I'll kind of go briefly over the production of Warcraft because it makes me sad.
Oh, you actually, when you learned about
I followed the entire production.
Holy fuck, okay.
So here's the problem. Warcraft started with a director who thought that the movie should only be about how humans are the good guys and orcs are the bad guys.
Oh, you bastard. Wait, who's the director?
The director who ended up doing it is Duncan Jones.
Okay.
He did Source Code and Moon.
Oh.
2 very good movies, very low budget movies. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
So the original director, I don't remember his name, but he very clearly said, this is a story about bad guy, good guy fighting, blah, blah. Duncan Jones apparently got the script because Duncan Jones plays World of Warcraft. He's a huge fan. He's been obsessed with it for a while. Duncan Jones got a hold of the script and actually talked to Chris Metzen. Chris Metzen is basically the creator of World of Warcraft, and told him, I feel like the script is going in the wrong direction. Talked to him and said, basically this needs to be a story about 2 different kinds of people getting into a conflict and seeing what motivates both of them.
Okay.
Brilliant idea.
Absolutely. Makes
complete sense with the game. There's this reason why Chris Metzen loved him for it, so they fired the other director, got Duncan Jones in.
Sounds about right.
Duncan Jones rewrote the script to resemble more what the World of Warcraft universe is actually like. Like, you understand the motivations of the humans and the orcs, blah, blah, blah. Here's the problem. Duncan Jones' full runtime of his movie that he wanted to put to theaters was 3 hours.
Oh, goodness.
That's going into, like, Zack Snyder territory. And he doesn't have DC Comics money. Like, World of Warcraft has money, but not that much. So they told him you have to cut this shit down. So he had to cut it down to 2 hours. You tell me what that 1 hour lost. Basically everything that explains
A lot of expository.
a lot of reasoning, expository stuff that would make the movie make so much more sense.
Right.
And a part of me is like, this is basically... Like, this is what happens. There's no way you would let someone put a 3-hour World of Warcraft movie, right?
I mean, yes, I would.
Okay.
I'm not just saying this to be different. I'm just saying this because how long has World of Warcraft been a thing? How many expansions have they been through?
Yeah.
You can't just explain a World of Warcraft story in about 2 hours. You have people who explain lore as a YouTube channel alone.
Yeah.
That's what they do, and they span over hours upon hours of content.
For, like, even for just characters. If you just
explaining lore, exactly. Just explaining characters. So, a 3-hour World of Warcraft movie isn't much of a stretch for me.
Yeah. And I also believe that, but I understand this is where a lot of video game movies probably butt heads is you get into the corporate fucking production company going, I understand you love this game, but we not only want seats that are for Warcraft fans, we need that middle America fucking loves people bashing each other seats. And 3 hours is not going to cut it for them. So they cut it down, they cut down an entire hour. And the movie honestly makes only sense if you've played World of Warcraft for 10 years.
Really?
And that is what makes me sad, is because there's no way for me to have a discussion with a movie critic or whatever, or try to read a review about the Warcraft movies, because all of his complaints are solved by the fact that he could have played the game. But that is not something I should be asking of a man who's going to go fucking watch your fucking movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, the Warcraft movie is literally like my shameful secret where I will read negative reviews about the Warcraft movie. Like recently, the WoW Reddit had a poll.
Oh no.
Of would you like a Warcraft sequel? And about the post had 1,000 comments.
Oh shit.
And I was like, either this is a bloodbath, and the poll was like overwhelmingly, yes, we want a sequel.
Oh no.
And what sucks is that we're not going to get one because Warcraft barely made its budget back.
Absolutely.
And Duncan Jones has talked about he will never do a big production again because he said he just butted heads with corporate people every step of the way. He couldn't do what he wanted because when you have $500 million at stake, you're not going to get your little creative ideas to be that fulfilled.
Right.
So it's very infuriating whenever I think about the Warcraft movie because for me it holds a special place in my heart. The acting is good. I think everything about it is good. They basically CGI'd the orcs out. Like, they look amazing. Everything looks amazing. But everyone is right when they say the story makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
And this is what sucks, like, about video game movies. And Warcraft really, I think, is the biggest loser because it is recorded as the most expensive video game movie is Warcraft.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How much?
Oh god, this is gonna make me really sad.
I also want you to talk about the revenue. I want to know how much.
And I want to note that the only reason the Warcraft movie got saved financially is because the overseas revenue. Okay, budget was $160 million. That's comparable to basically a Transformers movie, and the box office was $433 million. So clearly not enough because what you have to do is you have to get your budget back double to be able to be considered bankable.
Right.
And on Rotten Tomatoes it has a 28. So it got trashed. And it makes me sad because, again, for me that movie is a very special thing because that's the thing that people don't notice is when you've I probably don't get it for Lara Croft people. Like, they're probably huge Lara Croft fans. I imagine there's
Sure.
And for them to see Alicia Vikander on screen, crushing people's heads and doing the things, or, Easter egg mentions of stuff in the game on screen by real people, not just pixels.
Right.
They probably get super excited. For me, seeing orcs and, the Frostwolves being rendered in full and looking like actual, that blew my mind, it was like a huge experience for me. But
Yeah.
for people who are just going in and they're like, okay, this is my next review. I'm gonna watch this movie and I have to analyze it from a cinematic point of view. For them, they don't give a shit.
Right, and that's what I mean. That's part of the problem. Sorry if I seem like a little out of the experience. Just now, I just got a weird email. I'll tell you after.
All right.
But
foreshadowing.
Oh, not part of the podcast. It's a little more serious in the tone.
Okay.
But that's for me the problem with video game movies. They're going to pander regardless of the fact. Because is your foot asleep?
It is dead asleep.
Okay.
Okay, go.
They aren't going to pander to the audience who played the games and who know the lore and all that kind of stuff, but that won't make a good movie because there are going to be people who are going to go out and review the movie who've never played these games. There are people who are just going to watch it because it's a movie and anyone should be allowed to go see a movie regardless if it's a video game movie or just someone who just created it.
Yeah.
These people won't get it, and that's going to create that rift, and that's going to create that difference between it being a good movie or a good video game movie.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be a line. It should be, it's either a good movie or not. Yeah.
It just, the experiences you have kind of really color what you, like, it's very weird. It's like, and I would like to say that this culture of being like, is insert movie going to be the insert movie of fan bases? So, you know, like, when people are like, this is a headline I saw, and please don't break anything as I say this. Is Ready Player One going to be the Black Panther for video gamers? So that's what makes me... This entire podcast is culminating in us bitching about Ready Player One, by the way. Because what else is the penultimate, because I think there's going to be something else after this, representation of what's fucking awful about video game movies.
So...
This is the headline. Will Ready Player One be the Black Panther for video game players?
We never really discuss our topics before we meet and talk here on this podcast. I really wish you did, because I wouldn't have such a physical reaction to that headline.
I was gonna say it before we started, but I felt like, I think the initial punch that's gonna give it to you, like, you're gonna have to tell me what you think about that headline. So I'll start because you're in shell shock. Am I correct?
I mean, I've boxed a lot growing up.
In the streets of Guatemala.
Yes. I've gotten back to it. I've been back into the boxing gym.
Okay.
But never have I felt a punch that winded me this bad.
There's quite a left hook there.
I feel like my liver's been punched so hard I'm gonna piss blood.
Okay, so I just want to start because all these things we've been talking about can more or less be explained by just saying the Lara Croft movie, you know what it's about. The Warcraft movie, you know what it's about. Ready Player One, it's an amalgam. It's like a...
It's a book, though.
It's a book, but you have to explain what it's about. You can't just, like... It's not like the StarCraft novels. Like, you know what... Ready Player One is...
There is no extended universe. It is what it is.
There it is. That's what I mean. Ready Player One is kind of a Frankenstein monster, is what I explain it. Like, the book is a Frankenstein monster of... And I don't say this with complete honesty, and if the man who wrote the book listens to this podcast, hello, sir, you might be the first listener, but it is the book written by a broken man who loves video games so much, he writes fan fiction about them.
I was just about to say, is this probably fanfic?
It is fan fiction. And whoever is out there trying to defend it, because this movie is produced by Steven Spielberg.
Is it directed by him also?
Is it also directed by Steven? Because if it is, I wish Steven death.
Don't you do that?
Because he's truly lost his mind.
Probably, yes. I think...
Because you know they have to explain video games to him? You know they have to do that?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way he understands video games.
He went from Munich to Ready Player One. Yeah, fucking directed it.
Okay, kill me. So, the book is basically fan fiction about 80s video games.
Hold on, I don't want to cut you off there, but I feel like this is important to your next to formulate your argument. There are 2 writers, Zach Penn and Ernest Cline. That's much better than we've had so many. Like the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton had like 5 writers or some shit like that. But Ernest Cline is also the writer of the novel. He's the author. Sorry.
Auteur. This is an auteur piece.
Pretty much. Steven Spielberg producing. Ernest Cline wrote the novel, and he also had something to do with the screenplay.
That terrifies me, because if anyone's read the book, you probably haven't. Whoever's listening to this, I assume is going to be our Facebook friends and some other spare people. But whoever's read the book, my brother read the book and he said he was confused. So that's the best review I've ever had of it.
Wow.
My brother said he was very confused by it.
And apparently his favorite movie is The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
My brother's favorite movie is The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I'm saying it so he's ashamed of that fact every fucking day.
So he was confused by Ready Player One.
So he said he couldn't finish it. So, Ready Player One is fan fiction for 80s video games. And here's the problem of making that into a movie in 2018. 80s video games are not current. They're not cool. They're not... And also, people who imagined what video games would look like in the 80s and who made fan fiction about them have a way different idea of what it would look like in 2018.
I mean, come on, Castlevania was awesome.
I'm sure, definitely.
And they made a great Netflix show about it last year.
Apparently it was great. The anime?
Yeah.
Okay. I should watch that. But here's the problem. Castlevania is great.
Yes.
Fan fiction where you play as Alucard and you fight things and you're a white knight is not great.
No. But I feel like that's the difference. I mean, like, yeah, sure, you can talk about 80s video games, but this is fanfic.
It's the Twilight of video games.
Dude, 50 Shades of Grey was fanfic about Twilight.
I was gonna say, this is the 50 Shades of video games, is what I'm saying. And the problem is, you've probably seen the trailers. The ads for it have been insistent, and I hate all of them.
It's painful.
Painful. Yeah, you've seen the trailers. It looks like the most esoteric bullshit I've ever seen in my life. The fact that Steven Spielberg thinks it's cool to show a bunch of teenagers suit up, like physically suit up, and put a VR headset on to do video game stuff and fight monsters, it has one of the worst comedy moments ever. I'm putting incredible heavy quotes on this, where they're in a video game and the boy is with a character and she touches him up and she asks, "Can you feel that?"
Oh, that's hot.
And he goes, yeah.
That's real hot. I like the sound of that. I'm sold.
Murder me.
I'm sold on this movie.
Murder me. I hate this. I hate everything about this.
Yeah, showing the fucking character suit up, it made me think about Power Rangers.
Exactly, the suit is the same.
But just thinking about Power Rangers made me remember something I saw recently. And Power Rangers had many spin-offs. One of which was a show called VR Warriors, I think. VR Fighters or some shit. Where this guy, like, I think his dad is, like, captured in this VR world. And, like, he's like a scientist and he sends his son, like, you're one who's gonna put on the VR suit and become a VR warrior and save us in the VR world. And that's what I'm thinking about.
That's Tron.
Pretty much, like, at this point, Ready Player One is Tron fanfic. Like, if we don't have Sonic eating a chili dog, I'm gonna lose my shit, because any fanfic...
Gotta go fast!
Any fanfic with video games needs to make reference to the Sonic fanfic
And you know there's gonna
community.
there's gonna be a cringy furry joke.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Ready Player One, by the way, is something that we might go see just to complain about.
You know what?
But but it's exactly something that I would 100% not pay for it.
No, you know what? I'm gonna fucking pay for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay for your ticket also.
Okay. Well, we've solved that problem.
I mean, you know, between now and next week. Wait, when is it coming out?
I don't know. I don't want to have that in my head.
Okay, well, between now and when it actually comes out, when we're gonna see the movie, we're gonna do a podcast about it, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, I want to say between now and then, I think we're gonna come up with a bingo card.
Oh yes.
Or
Okay.
like, at least like a bullet point list of what we think is going to happen.
Yeah, completely.
Not that our opinions matter, nor does what we think matter, but just for the shits and giggles.
I completely agree with that. There's a lot of movies that the podcast will just become at some point just us seeing shit and talking about it. The first few episodes are going to have to be us having deep discussions about things we've thought about.
Right.
But it's probably going to turn into just us trying to talk about shit we've seen. And so far we have quite a list because...
Oh, I don't want to talk about the things that we're going to see because I want to leave it as a surprise. If you fucking winded me with that stupid Ready Player One headline, I want everybody else to be sucker punched.
Okay, we're not going to spoil anything. It's literally just going to be like, you'll know when we start.
Right.
But, yeah, listen, we're at 50 minutes.
Well, let's keep going, man.
Which is, I'm kind of surprised at that, but to just keep going on this is Ready Player One, to me, it's like, it's the ultimate, like, the dude, I don't know who pitched the idea. I'm going to assume that the writer of the book was like, I'll pitch this, or like, whatever.
Yeah.
It when you think about it, it tries to solve all the video game movie problems. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about, like, it's technically a video game movie. If we're going to talk about this as...
But it's not.
It's not, but you know... It's like an unspoken thing. Like, come on. The trailer... Did you see the first reveal where all the video game characters run on field?
They're not real video game characters, are they?
There's Tracer from Overwatch.
This book came out in 2011. What?
Steven
Wait, when
Spielberg...
the fuck did Overwatch come out?
Way later than that. 2015 is what I say.
Okay, yeah. What?
Yeah.
What? That's ridiculous.
It's kind of embarrassing. Girl, please.
I swear to God, that's my cat. Just full on licking herself.
She's just licking herself. It's real loud.
Is Pac-Man gonna be there? Like, is this gonna be that?
Okay, they can't do Pac-Man because I'm gonna say this right now. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 had a very unexpected Pac-Man reference at the end, and it's one of the best I've ever seen. So they can't do Pac-Man, but Overwatch is there.
They're gonna do Ms. Pac-Man.
Oh, she's gonna be like overly feminine. She's gonna be like, you gotta know that she has a vagina.
She's gonna be like very sensual.
Yeah, she's gonna have tits. But
is this like a shout out to all the people who wrote like straight up disgusting like porn fanfic about Ms. Pac-Man?
Yeah, like just cream pie.
Oh. Jesus.
Okay, so what the fuck were we talking about? Okay, anyway.
I don't know, I'm just picturing Miss Pac-Man swallowing cherries, man.
Ready Player One fixes all of these problems that video game movies has, is that it's not a video game specifically, but it is about video games.
I don't think it falls under the umbrella of video game movies, though.
Fuck, okay. But it's about...
Like, every gripe we have with
it's you watching somebody watch video games.
Yeah. But I mean, like I was gonna say, every gripe we've had with all the video game movies we were talking about just now doesn't apply. Because they can't be Easter eggs to these other video games if there never was a video game about this movie anyway. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So everybody's on the same... Like, we're all on a level playing field right now.
But here's my thing. I was going to mention this too. The Ready Player One movie looks a lot, it reminds me a lot of Ender's Game. Do you remember that?
The movie or the book?
The movie. The book is great. The movie's apparently not that great. You've read the book, right?
Yeah.
I think everyone's read Ender's Game. I think it's a very good book. It has like...
All I'm going to say about the movie is that Harrison Ford doesn't look like he's trying.
There we go. But Harrison Ford is not trying anymore.
He's never trying.
I feel like Harrison Ford wants to die. That's a hot take right there, because he's been in so many plane accidents, and I don't think they're all accidents.
Like, I don't feel like he's a suicidal guy, because he just looks like a dude who just doesn't give a shit.
No, I think he just actively will not stop death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's happening, he's here for the ride.
And, like, that's the cruel joke, that death won't kill him.
Yeah. Because death is just his buddy. They're just like, they know.
Yeah, like, they hang out with some bros, with some Dave Matthews.
Yeah. Love the Dave Matthews Band. It reminds me a lot of the Ender's Game movie, where Ender's Game, the book, is very much like kids being used in a program to fight things as a video game. I won't. But Ready Player One reminds me a lot of that. And the Ender's Game movie was not very good because people said that it just was too mediocre and far-fetched, and it didn't execute it didn't execute the twist well. And I'm gonna predict that Ready Player One has a twist.
Oh wow.
Do you predict that Ready Player One has a twist? Is what I assume that it has a twist that like.
See, now this might come as a shock to you, but I haven't given Ready Player One that much thought.
I mean, that's just a shame, and I'm kind of like I want to kick you out right now. So
I haven't given it my attention.
I thought we were both analyzing Ready Player One for today. Someone didn't do their homework.
Yikes! I just don't want to think about it.
Okay.
Now that you mention it.
Does it? Because to me,
I'm gonna have to watch enough trailers to make that statement.
Okay.
Although, if you explain it to me, I might come up with.
The trailers are not that fucking like.
Although I wanted to say something.
Okay, sorry.
Player One. No, it's all good. The only way I can see this being good is if they do like a Starship Trooper-esque type of thing.
You're a real big fan of Starship Trooper.
I mean, like.
You're a big fan of that.
To an extent, like. I think the platform on which it was used definitely was interesting because it fooled a shit ton of people. And everybody's like, oh, this is fucking garbage. Like, oh, Starship Troopers sucks. You don't watch it for the action, dumbass. Right?
But that was I think that was what it was sold as.
If you're too fucking stupid to get Starship Troopers,
don't watch Ready Player One.
Clearly not. Like,
I understand what you mean. Yeah.
Like if they do something, like because they're touching on a very big community here in Ready Player One. They're talking about all these underage gamers.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think there's gonna be like, it's gonna be real spicy if they actually make commentary on violence in video games? Can you imagine if they actually make that correlation? Because you know it's gonna be a clusterfuck, right?
Absolutely.
If they actually tried to make that connection of like, look what happens.
Cautionary tale.
Cautionary tale about young people in their video games. But then a part of me is like, it's just gonna be a big dumb movie about crashing robots together and going like, did you get him? And there's gonna be one left in the seat. Everyone else is gonna die in the game.
Oh, God.
We'll see it anyway. See, the entire point of this podcast is us bitching about a topic and the ending being like, I'll just see it anyway.
Just being depressed and still want to watch it.
Yeah, I think that's the life of being, I hate saying this, sort of educated on films. Like, I think me and Brennan have, like, a little notch up from, like, we're not the general population. On some things, yes. I will go watch Pacific Rim Uprising and turn off my brain and turn into, like, a Midwestern wife that just wants to see people
Pacific Rim wasn't like that, though.
Pacific Rim was very deep, and I don't think anyone's ready for me to start on that, but we'll see.
It's really good, and it touches many things on different levels.
Guillermo del Toro is so good with monster shit. Right?
I mean, he uses monsters to convey a deeper meaning.
He uses monsters to talk about human things, and that's his...
It's like the BoJack Horseman theory.
I love BoJack Horseman. Dude.
That people with the most humane characteristics are the animals.
Oh, God. Dude, BoJack... If you guys... This is also... Shout out to BoJack Horseman. Great show. It will turn you into a depressing fat fuck, and if you already are one, you'll probably go into even deeper depression. Because I watched it and I enjoyed the fuck out of it, but sometimes you end episodes and you start crying. There's a specific episode, I think it's in season 2, where he goes to apologize to his longtime friend.
Oof.
And that episode ends in a way that will make you bawl your eyes out.
Yeah.
And also, to counteract that, the theme song is very good.
Absolutely. Shout out to Patrick Carney from the Black Eyed Peas, yikes. The Black Keys.
I wish it was the Black Eyed Peas.
I think it's Patrick Carney who does the song.
Is it a full thing? It probably is, right? Somewhere?
I don't think so.
Oh, fuck.
I think he just wrote it for the show.
It's kind of perfect. I rarely say that about intro things, but it's kind of perfect.
Absolutely, it fits everything so perfectly. All this to talk about how we feed our self-perpetuating cycle of depression.
There we go.
By going to see Ready Player One.
Oh, completely. I think that related to that, I will explain why when we go see Ready Player One, Rampage, something else, I don't know. When we see all those shit, that reminds me of, I went to see Jumanji.
You saw it?
I saw it in theaters.
Wow.
I'm talking about
The remake.
The remake with everyone who's famous.
I heard it wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad, but it depresses you in a way where you know that you learned nothing from it. Great movie, I'm gonna admit. Has great action. Has some of the most wholesome and most like positive things to say about friendships.
Really?
And it's surprisingly like in that, but you learned nothing. Like literally, there's no point in you going to see it. If you read a summary of Jumanji, you'd feel as happy about it. Anyway, brother and his girlfriend loved it though.
Okay.
Because his favorite movie is Man from U.N.C.L.E. So,
Nice.
All this to say, we're gonna go see these video game movies anyway, even though I think we both realize that they're kind of problematic, right?
Oh, for sure.
But I think that's just what it is. Let me get back to my original point, which was, Brandon and I think, have a better understanding of movies than most people, and that comes from just going in a specific film program, but also like just being genuinely interested in it and wanting to learn more about it.
But all I have to say, like, it's not even, like, yeah, sure, I'd say it's a little bit of a notch up. But I mean, if anyone actually cared and went to go see movies regardless if they were bad or good, and formulating their own arguments about a movie, kind of puts us all in the same camp. All it takes is just some care for the art.
Yeah, I just think that most people have other shit to do.
I get it. It boils down to us, like, doing jack shit all day.
Yes, but I would just like to say, my brother could have a better taste in movies. He just, every time he goes to the movies with me, it's because he's just out there to have fun. Like, I said this, the only movies I go to see with my brother are the Marvel movies and Jumanji and all the other type of shit.
I mean, that's fair.
It's fair, but every single other movie, like, I'll be very honest, I didn't go see indie movies in theaters because I thought it was a waste of money until Anne forced me to go to one, and then we just kept going.
They're awesome, man.
They're awesome. It just, I still have that mentality, like most people, where if I go to a theater, it's because I want my brain blown out by, like, missiles and just voices and, like, monsters fighting. But you can do more than that. You can watch something else, like...
I mean, it all comes down to the fact that why theater was created was for people to have an escape from, everyday life and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now we're creating movies to bring people back down to real life.
Yeah, that's very... But, in general, video game movies are not that great, but we'll keep supporting them. Actually, I'll be very honest, I'll support video game movies because I think if you don't support them, they're not going to get better. And if Lara Croft, if the new Tomb Raider...
That's debatable. That's debatable.
That's true, because if you support them, they just stay the same and they just keep doing the same shit. But that's a cynical way of viewing it. Listen, Brandon, it's 2018. New outlook on life.
It's a year of change.
I'm a depressed fat fuck with an optimistic view of life.
Okay.
But, even if Lara Croft's best review is that it's a 50-50 thing, where you just watch it and you're like, it was fun. Like, I'm not wasting my time.
Right.
I think that that's still worth it. For some people, maybe not, but I think it's still worth it if you go out there and you're like, I didn't hate that. Like, it was like...
I guess so.
Yeah. But for some people, I know that some people will probably be like, if you're going to movies, you want to see something that's worth it, right?
For sure.
But then again, also, some people might disagree with the ratings. So, some people, reviews might say the Lara Croft was a 50, and for me it's probably, an 80 maybe?
I mean, the beauty of it is that everything is just so subjective.
Yeah. But that's the one. I guess this is what the discussion kind of ends with, is that overall video game movies are kind of considered as a middling thing. Like, the best one we've had so far is this one. I feel like getting a 50% where it's like, it's okay. It's like, kind of sad that, like, most video game movies are considered shit. But, I don't know. It's, at the end of the day, you want to have fun, you want to go watch Lara Croft break a dude's head off, sure.
For sure, but I mean, like, what we're kind of ending on here is kind of a sort of what one should keep in mind when you listen to a podcast that talks about movies such as this one, or you read a Roger Ebert review, or any review for that matter. Take everything with a grain of salt, honestly. Like, again, like we said in the beginning, what do we know? Sure, we went to we went to a film program and we learned about analyzing stuff like that. But again, like I was saying, anybody who gives two shits about movies could formulate their own arguments are already ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
You know? So, honestly, make up your own mind about things.
And at the end of the day, a lot of people talk about how the best kind of movie is the one where you can have an opinion about it.
Right.
You know, it's kind of the worst thing you can do is make a movie and everyone just agree that it's like, eh.
Yeah, for sure.
You either hate it or love it. It's made you feel something.
Exactly.
I feel like that's the important thing. And I hope to fucking God, Lara Croft, please make me feel at least something.
Right.
I think that's it. I finished my tea.
As I did as
okay. Well. Your cat stopped licking itself. I feel
Right.
like that's a good way to end it.
I want to leave on some words, though. I know we're called another fucking movie podcast, but it is also my intention, and also a suggestion, that we're going to try to, get some people on this show who are very proactive in the art scene in Montreal.
Except music, though, because I hate music, and you know that.
Oh, I guess we won't have my band on the show then. Great.
I think it's kind of rude that Brandon knows that I hate music and actually mentions the fact that he wants his band on the show. So, I mean, no, I'm kidding. We're going to
But I feel like it'd be really cool to give, exposition to all these people who are really doing an amazing job out here.
They're trying their best, as we all are.
I mean, we're all starting up, so if we could lend a hand to people on our way.
We're just not starting up at Silicon Valley, so...
I mean...
We can't all be tech bros.
Clearly not.
And, again, Brandon's completely right. We're going to have a variety of people on. We're not just going to sit here and just complain about shit all the time. We're going to try to have some variety here. And to end this podcast, I would like to ask you, listener, do you think that Ready Player One is going to be the Black Panther for video game players?
Oh, that's the question on which we're going to build our thesis statement.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Let us know what you think. And please get back to us before the next episode so we can all trash your ideas and you can trash us back.
Bye. Bye. Bye.